Welcome to my birthday readathon. Hi, I'm Jane at Twofold Books, and I usually have more than one perspective or answer. Today is my birthday. I took 2 days off from work, and it's Martin Luther King weekend in America, so I have Monday off as well. So I have 5 days off, and all I want to do is read. So a while ago, I was walking to a grocery store and I saw a pile of books in an alley near a garbage can. This is a neighborhood with a lot of little free libraries, but here they were, all these seemingly new copies sitting by a garbage can, and I scooped them up. I got 6 books just for walking to the grocery store. That feels a little karmic. And I haven't gotten around to reading any of them yet. So this weekend, my plan is to read all 6, plus a birthday read-along I had already planned. Aside from the last book, which is a reread, one of my favorite books, I don't know what any of these books are about. I don't need any spoilers. I'm excited to just go through it and find out. We'll just see how much I can get done in 5 days. This readathon started when I woke up at 7 a.m. and will end when I go to bed on Monday evening. We'll see how much I can get done in just 5 days. In preparation, I was able to find 2 of the books as audiobooks, so I will be reading some of the copy that I found, but I will also be using the audiobook to continue living my life, making my meals, going for walks, doing other chores that need to be done. That'll help out a lot. That'll help me prevent me from just being locked in the house for 5 days. So here is the lineup, and I will just keep vlogging through the weekend and let you see bits of progress as we go. The first book I started first thing this morning is To Marry Medusa by Theodore Sturgeon. It's a classic sci-fi. I think it was originally printed in the 50s. This was originally printed in 1958, and it is a Hugo and Nebula Award winner. This is the next one I started when I went down for a run. I listened to the audiobook of Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. I am really enjoying the audiobook, but also looking forward to seeing what it looks like on the page. I'm getting some very neurodiverse vibes here, and I'm excited about that. I've heard of this book. This book has gotten some hype, which is probably why I was able to find the audiobook. The next 3 are by Becky Chambers, so women written sci-fi, To Be Taught If Fortunate, A Closed and Common Orbit, and Record of a Spaceborn Few. They're in space, that's all I need to know. And the last of my Back Alley haul is They Both Die at the End, which again has a pretty cover, has a title about death. I don't need to know anything else. I'm going to read it. That's the other one that I was able to find the audiobook for, and I won't start that unless I need to. And my last book, which I will be reading next for a birthday read-along video, is The Tattooed Potato by Raskin. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm reading it as a birthday treat to myself. So if you'd like to see the video of me reading The Tattooed Potato, I'll put the link in the description, as well as putting it up in the cards. Most of the weekend is dedicated to reading. I have a small Zoom birthday party scheduled for later. I gotta make some meals. I will be going for a few walks, but mostly I'll check in time to time throughout the weekend and let you know my progress and let you see what I'm up to. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't know if you have to drink more when you're 35, but I did drink more, and I'm way too drunk to read myself to sleep. I did finish about a quarter of the book To Marry Medusa, and I finished all of The Tattooed Potato. The video for that is really long. I hope I can edit it before the weekend's out without disrupting the reading goal. We'll see. And I need to drink water and go to sleep so I can read tomorrow. It's about 10 a.m. I'm gonna make pancakes and listen to a book. I'm thinking of doing some errands and going for a walk, but it's really like there's snow flurries on and off, and I don't like the snow. I don't know if I'll go out. I have some books to pick up at the library I really want to get. And I'm halfway through to marry Medusa, so I'm making progress. It's not snowing. I wanted to go for a walk, and I decided to do something I used to do, which was read a book at the very same time. Well, I woke up to snow. If you like snow, that's great, but I take it really personally, and it's cold, so I'm just gonna read in bed today. I was just eating my food so quickly that I was choking so that I could get back to reading. Don't do that. So I did a few errands, and now I'm back in the house. I don't have anything else I have to do today. I have time stretching before me to read. I'm very excited. So here's the update. So far, I finished The Tattooed Potato and Other Clues. I finished To Marry Medusa, and I'm working on Darius the Great Is Not Okay and To Be Taught If Fortunate. Hopefully today is the day I finish 2 books. Well, I finished one of the Becky Chambers books a little bit earlier, and then I discovered that the second 2 I have are second books in a series, and I don't have the first one. So I just really struggled. I was like, do I get the first one from the library and extend this challenge to 8? Do I get the book from the library and throw one of these books out and keep it at 7? And then I just was like, just read the books you have. You can read a series out of order. It's weird, but you can do it. I really wrestled with it, but I started it, and it's got a Jane in it, so that's cool. So I was reading that book, and then I was asleep. I was in a live sprint, and I just woke up. Someone else is about to sprint in a few minutes. I'm gonna join that live sprint. It's only about 5 o'clock. So I will get some more reading done today. We'll see what happens. I may not check in again, though. I woke up to snow again today, so I'm spending another day just inside reading. I'm so close to finished with Darius the Great Is Not Okay, and I'm also really close to finished with A Closed and Common Orbit, and then I will start the next Becky Chambers book. I'm still reading A Closed and Common Orbit, and somebody joined me under the covers. It's bedtime, getting ready for bed. I finished 2 books today, and I got about a third of the way through one more, and I have 1 day left. So I've had a hard time getting started today. I woke up at 7 and read for like an hour, but then I fell asleep. And I have to go back to work tomorrow. I'm worried that I'll have a hard time. It's a long day, and I haven't been going to bed early enough. So yeah, I've just been having a hard time getting started. Had some breakfast, checked into YouTube a little bit. I think I'm going to listen to an audiobook and go for a walk. It's sunny enough. It'll probably be cold. And then I know I'll get a lot of reading done tonight during the live stream, but I don't know if I'll get like a book and 2/3 done in one day. I realized I haven't really done any like book updates or reviews or said anything specific about the books, or maybe I have, but I don't feel like I've been comprehensive. So I was thinking I might have time to do that today and the sun is shining, but I just maybe should spend my time reading and do that later in the week and edit it in after the whole experience. I am really liking the books. I am really liking reading this much. It feels really good. I don't know, today just is maybe some of that sort of ennui that I have to go back to work tomorrow. I did it! I did it! I finished all 7 books. I secretly finished my last 2 during live sprints tonight, and I loved all of the books I read this weekend. There wasn't a single book that I was like, huh, what is this? I wish I weren't reading this. I feel like a lucky duck to have set a goal, met it, and really enjoyed it. I'm going to do some reviews and an outro later in the week and then do some editing and posting. And I hope y'all like my reviews as much as I liked my books. Bye! Hello again. It's been more than a day. It's been to the next weekend before I felt up to the task of finishing this video and offering my, I don't know if I'm really capable of a synopsis, but I will try to give a little bit of my personal opinion of my review. I'm just gonna go through the books in the order I finished them. So to begin with, we had The Tattooed Potato and Other Clues by Ellen Raskin. I read this that first day on my birthday. It was a really fun thing to do. I'm not sure the video about that experience fully expresses it, but that's okay. It's a middle grade murder mystery centering artists as detectives and has that everything is connected feeling. It was a great way to start. The next book, To Marry Medusa by Theodore Sturgeon, was a little bit tougher. It's a classic, you know, it's got an older style of language. Even though it's pretty short, it did take me a while. And I'm not sure if I recommend it. I certainly want to offer trigger warnings on it. The second chapter, I had a little, I would say if you could handle some of those early scenes in Westworld, you could handle it, but know that that's coming. The title originally was more triggering. It's a very interesting exploration of the hive mind. Without spoilers, I will say that I was pleasantly surprised and interested by a more antique take on that. I don't think we'd get the same end today. Yeah, I liked it. I think I liked it. But be careful if you think you want to read it. So then I did Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. I did this as an audiobook. I ended up doing the whole thing as an audiobook, which I'm okay with. I loved this book. I love the character from minute one. I've been watching a lot of Star Trek over the past year, so whenever he was mentioning a Star Trek reference, I was like, oh, I just watched that episode. I know exactly what you're talking about. So that was fun. The book is centering the neurodiversity of depression, but I tell you what, I got some of those autism vibes and feels. I mean, the way he classifies different things felt really familiar to me. The struggles with understanding people. I mean, I'm not going to put that label on anyone else, but I just really related to a lot of those expressions in the book. And I'm always really happy to see intersectional diversity in literature and different discussions of how different family structures and cultures navigate disability and neurodiversity. I think there needs to be more of that in literature because there's so much of it in life. I love this book. I'm keeping it and I'll read it again. Then I did a bunch of Becky Chambers, and the first one was the skinniest one. It is called To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. This is a short novella that is a standalone, in a way is much closer to science as we have it today. It's in the future, but it's space science that is a natural progression from what we know today and what we would expect to know in the future. The title, this is not a spoiler, but the title, it turns out, is from the Voyager Golden Record, which I think is just cool. It's a real science thing. This was like my first taste, and I love Becky Chambers. There is a throwaway line that just expresses gender inclusivity. There is a character who, you know, again, by pretty much a throwaway line, is asexual. And I just really love that those characters and that representation is just so simple. It doesn't have to be part of the narrative for an identity to be represented by a character. Chambers does this so elegantly, which is something that carries through to the other books. I started looking at the other two, and it turns out they are sequels to The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which of course I didn't know when I picked them up in an alley. This series is the Wayfarer series. I just Googled, can I read them if I haven't read the first? And her answer was like, I kind of assumed you've read it, but you'll be fine. So I struggled in that sort of like compulsive, I read things in order way, and then just picked it up and went with it. Such a win. I mean, I love Becky Chambers now. I'm so happy that I found these in an alley and found her as an author, and I really plan on reading. So I want to get the first one, and I'll read that, but I'm also going to get the fourth one later in this year when it comes out. The first one I read is A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. And again, with neurodiversity vibes right away. There's an AI is now housed in the body in a robot android. They call it a kit, but, you know, housed in a body. And the AI is having a lot of problems with sensory integration as a result of that. Again, it's not a spoiler. It's kind of like on the first page. I relate to that. I really relate to struggling to navigate sensory input. And, you know, in the autism community, there's been, for a very long time, feelings of connection to Data from Star Trek, Seven of Nine, Spock. There's a lot of feelings of connection to robotic or regimented characters. But there hasn't been, I would say, quite enough connection to robotic characteristics that are not devoid of emotion. So this has got this very expressive, emotional robot. It's delightful. There's also, again, some just really spectacular, like, I haven't read sci-fi that's so gender expressive and gender expansive since The Left Hand of Darkness. But yet it was just fun, personal characters. And also, not a spoiler, but the other main character of the novel, one of her names is Jane. So, you gotta love it. And then the book that follows, A Closed and Common Orbit in the Wayfarer series, is Record of a Spaceborn Few, and this is about an entirely different group of people. I guess what ties this series together, intergalactically, the events are occurring roughly around the same time. But this one also, this is talking about how humans are operating as a space unit, especially how they maintain their history, how they maintain their futures. It has some very interesting things to say about and project about immigration or how we integrate and connect with other cultures. I think one of my favorite things is that there's a funeral caretaker and a sex worker, and those two characters were, I think, my favorite to follow in this novel. And my very last read, which I did finish, I mostly read as an audiobook. They Both Die at the End by Adib Silvera. So in this novel, Mateo and Rufus know that they're going to die by the end of the day, and they're living out that last day with that knowledge, is exploring all those things that they do and see and feel, and the ways in which they grow even in just 24 hours. I loved it. I wasn't expecting to love it. I thought maybe it would be a little bit trite. It's a captivating and compelling read. It was very fast. All the characters are really sympathetic and you care about them, and I did love that I have the book at the end. There's some like after material that's got, you know, some handwritten things and a chart that gets people through all the way together. But yeah, I did really just like love following these two characters throughout their day. The knowledge of their death is made possible by a speculative technology called Deathcast, and I think it's just so on point how a new technology would be born and then an entire industry of death grows around it. So capitalism quickly uses this new technology to its advantage, and then that's exploited for sex. It reminds me of some Margaret Atwood projections. I feel like I should have something more poignant to say, but if you already read it, you know, and if you didn't, maybe some of those cute things like the, you know, Grim Reaper shadow will grab you and you'll read it. So yeah, I did it. This would not have been possible if two of them were not audiobooks, and it was the nature of the books that they are. I didn't read my African Author Challenge books. They're not psychology annals. They're not textbooks. They're not heavy history. I enjoyed it. I had fun. It's not my usual reading pace, and I think it will be a long time before I do it again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if this is the kind of content you'd like to see me do again, or if you have any tips or pointers for how to do a vlog. This is my very first vlog. It's really my first readathon. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Feed the algorithm beast. Do I have anything else to say? I don't think I have anything else to say. See ya!